Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. The news hit Washington like a thunderclap. Drake Jackson, the young pass-rushing talent once seen as a rising star in San Francisco, is now packing his bags for the nation's capital. The Commanders, a team desperately seeking to rebuild its defensive identity after a roller coaster season, have decided to bet big on potential rather than pedigree. Fans woke up to the alert, and social media immediately went into meltdown mode. The rumors had been bubbling for days, but no one truly believed the deal was real until now. Jackson's arrival signals something deeper, a clear intention from Washington's front office to reignite the fire that once made their defense feared across the league. The Commanders' faithful, long accustomed to heartbreak and half measures, suddenly have a reason to feel a pulse of excitement again. Drake Jackson's mix of speed, flexibility, and raw explosiveness could be the missing spark this franchise has been searching for. What makes this move even more intriguing is how quietly it was executed. There were no leaks, no cryptic tweets, no whispers from insiders until the final moment. Just a sudden explosion of confirmation. That's how you know the Commanders are operating differently now. This isn't the same franchise that used to broadcast every internal conversation to the world. There's a new sense of purpose behind the scenes, and Jackson's signing feels like a statement to the rest of the league. Washington wants to be unpredictable again. The front office has clearly learned that power in the NFL comes not just from talent, but from surprise. Jackson embodies that perfectly, a player whose ceiling remains a mystery, but whose hunger could turn him into a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks if developed correctly. Drake Jackson's journey hasn't been linear. Drafted with promise, celebrated as a future defensive cornerstone, he found himself battling inconsistency, system changes, and injuries in San Francisco. For a while, it looked like the Niners had given up on him too early, especially considering flashes of brilliance during his rookie campaign. Now, in Washington, he gets what every young player dreams of, a clean slate. This new chapter isn't about what he was supposed to be. It's about what he can become. Commanders head coach Dan Quinn, known for his defensive mind, reportedly had his eye on Jackson for months. Quinn believes that with the right mentorship and system, Jackson's natural instincts can finally explode. It's not just about sacks and pressures. It's about reestablishing a mentality on defense that has been missing since the days when Washington's front line terrified opponents. Fans are already imagining the possibilities. Imagine Jonathan Allen, Darren Payne, and now Drake Jackson coming off the edge with relentless energy. That trio alone could give offensive coordinators nightmares. The thought of that front collapsing pockets, disrupting timing, and forcing turnovers has reignited conversations about whether the Commanders can climb back into playoff contention. But with excitement comes skepticism. Can Jackson deliver under pressure? Can he finally translate his potential into production on a team still trying to find its identity? These are fair questions, and the answers will define both his career and Washington's trajectory this season. What's certain is that his arrival has sparked more buzz than any offseason move in recent memory. Inside the locker room, reactions are said to be overwhelmingly positive. Veterans respect his talent, and younger players see him as proof that the organization is serious about change. One anonymous player reportedly said, "This dude's got something special. We can feel it." That's the type of energy you can't manufacture. It's contagious, and in a sport where emotion often defines performance, that matters more than stats. Jackson's work ethic, according to those who know him, has never been in question. He's the kind of guy who stays late, studies film obsessively, and takes criticism as fuel. If that mentality transfers to the Commanders' defensive culture, the rest of the league might soon realize that Washington's rebuild isn't a slow process. It's a storm brewing faster than anyone expected. And let's be honest, this move has a little chaos written all over it, in the best possible way. The Commanders' front office has been accused for years of playing it too safe, of choosing reliability over risk. But not this time. Signing Drake Jackson is a gamble, sure, but it's the kind of gamble that championship teams make. He's young, hungry, and still raw enough to be molded into something elite. There's a real sense that if Washington can unlock even half of his potential, they could have a star on their hands. And if not, well, at least they went down swinging. For fans who've endured mediocrity for far too long, that alone feels like a victory worth celebrating. Behind the scenes, whispers suggest that the Commanders' pursuit of Drake Jackson began much earlier than anyone realized. According to several sources close to the situation, Washington scouts had been tracking him since late last season, analyzing his every snap, his body language, even his approach during warm-ups. They saw a player whose spark hadn't dimmed, just misplaced. When San Francisco began making roster adjustments, Washington was the first to pick up the phone. The trade negotiations were described as fast but quiet, a testament to how determined both sides were to get it done without unnecessary media noise. This level of secrecy is rare in the NFL, and it highlights how focused the Commanders have become on controlling their narrative. In an age where leaks are currency, Washington managed to pull off one of the most surprising moves of the year. What makes this story even more fascinating is the strategic vision behind it. Dan Quinn's defensive philosophy thrives on versatility, aggression, and unpredictability, three qualities Drake Jackson naturally brings to the table. He's not a one-dimensional edge rusher. He can drop into coverage, stunt inside, and chase plays down from behind. That kind of flexibility opens up an entirely new playbook for Quinn, who's been craving the right personnel to execute his schemes at full throttle. Insiders say that during his first conversation with Jackson, Quinn emphasized one phrase repeatedly: "We're building a new identity." That kind of directness has already earned Jackson's respect. It's the kind of mentorship he's been missing, a coach who doesn't just demand performance, but also believes in a player's potential to redefine a system. Meanwhile, Washington's fan base has erupted with cautious optimism. After years of watching promising names fizzle out, they know better than to declare victory too soon. But this feels different. There's a swagger returning to the team, subtle but undeniable. Social media is filled with highlights of Jackson's college days at USC, where he terrorized quarterbacks with his lightning burst off the edge. Supporters are replaying those clips, imagining what that same intensity could look like in burgundy and gold. For a fan base that's been starved of hope, these little flashes of possibility mean everything. It's not just about the player. It's about believing again, about sensing that maybe, just maybe, the tides are finally turning in Washington's favor. Still, questions linger. Can Drake Jackson handle the pressure of being a centerpiece in a defense that desperately needs leadership? Can he stay healthy for a full season, something that's eluded him so far? The NFL is brutal, and talent alone rarely guarantees success. But what gives Washington fans a reason to believe is the structure now in place. Under new management and a coaching staff that actually communicates, there's stability, a word that hasn't been associated with this franchise in years. If Jackson can stay focused and build chemistry with his teammates, especially in that defensive line room loaded with experience, there's every reason to think he could thrive. Sometimes, all a player needs is a fresh start and a locker room that truly believes in him. From a league perspective, analysts are already calling this one of the most intriguing under-the-radar moves of the offseason. It's not the kind of blockbuster that dominates headlines for weeks, but it's the type that changes games in December. Washington might have quietly stolen a gem from under everyone's noses. Imagine this. Late in the season, playoff stakes on the line, and Drake Jackson comes up with a crucial strip sack to seal a win. That's the vision the Commanders are betting on, and it's not far-fetched. Every season, there's one player who goes from forgotten name to breakout sensation. If Jackson becomes that guy in Washington, it'll be a redemption story tailor-made for the highlight reels. And as the dust settles, one thing is clear. This isn't just a transaction, it's a statement. The Commanders aren't waiting for respect anymore, they're taking it. Drake Jackson's arrival marks a turning point, a declaration that the team refuses to stay stuck in the cycle of mediocrity. Whether this experiment works or not, it's exactly the kind of bold, fearless move that breathes life into a franchise. For now, the streets of DC are buzzing, the fans are talking, and every rival quarterback in the division just felt a shiver down their spine. Washington is making noise again, and this time, it sounds like thunder. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. Beyond the field and locker room, media and marketing implications are also generating buzz, as T. Higgins' potential move could shift sponsorship deals, jersey sales, and national media coverage toward Washington. Analysts note that high-profile transfers like this often result in a surge of brand visibility, creating a virtuous cycle where athletic performance, media presence, and commercial opportunities reinforce each other. Fans are speculating about the first press conference, the unveiling of Higgins in the Commanders' colors, and the initial marketing campaigns that might accompany the deal. Media insiders suggest that the announcement will be meticulously choreographed to maximize impact, drawing in audiences both regionally and nationally. Meanwhile, commentators debate whether Higgins' move could inspire other players to seek similar opportunities, potentially igniting a wave of roster changes across the league. The rumor is no longer just a question of sport. It has become a cultural moment, a convergence of athletic prowess, media spectacle, and fan anticipation. Every angle is being explored, from the tactical to the emotional to the commercial, demonstrating the remarkable way a single player's potential transfer can ripple outward, influencing narratives far beyond the immediate teams involved. This is more than news. It's an unfolding story with layers that captivate, provoke, and enthrall. In addition, speculation about how T. Higgins' presence could alter the NFC East hierarchy is rampant, with experts projecting the potential domino effect on rival teams and divisional rivalries. Analysts suggest that defenses accustomed to certain coverage schemes may now have to adapt quickly, planning for the explosive plays Higgins could generate. Coaches are theorizing about the matchups that will define the early season, imagining scenarios where Higgins becomes the focal point of Washington's offense, forcing opposing coordinators into high-pressure decisions on every snap. Meanwhile, players across the division are reportedly taking notice, recalibrating their expectations, and preparing for the added challenge of defending against one of the league's most formidable receivers. Fans are already imagining highlight reel plays, last-minute touchdowns, and game-changing performances that could redefine the narrative of the season. Fantasy football managers are scrambling to update rankings, swap players, and strategize based on the assumption that Higgins' target volume and yardage could skyrocket. The speculation creates a multi-layered tension, blending competitive strategy, fan passion, and league-wide intrigue, ensuring that every Sunday becomes not just a game, but a storyline teeming with potential consequences, excitement, and unpredictability, all originating from this single, game-altering rumor. Finally, the story surrounding T. Higgins' potential move to the Commanders captures the essence of NFL drama, combining player talent, strategic maneuvering, and the unpredictable thrill of sports rumors into a captivating narrative. Every layer, from locker room dynamics to financial negotiations, from media spectacle to fan speculation, intertwines to create a sense of anticipation rarely seen outside of championship games or high-profile drafts. Analysts are constantly recalculating possibilities, weighing how this move could redefine team identity, playoff prospects, and even individual legacies. Fans are emotionally invested, expressing both hope and skepticism, while social media amplifies every whispered detail into trending conversation. Coaches, players, and management are all engaged in high-stakes decision-making behind the scenes, making the rumor not just about a player, but about the potential reshaping of a franchise and the wider league. The magnitude of this story lies not only in its potential confirmation, but in the cultural, strategic, and emotional waves it generates, ensuring that as long as the rumor circulates, every fan, commentator, and insider remains captivated. It is, in every sense, a moment that exemplifies why the NFL thrives on suspense, speculation, and the irresistible allure of what might happen next. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.